Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my Author's Answer video for May 2023. The Author's Answer series was started by J.D. Archer and his writing group, wherein they asked themselves a variety of reading and writing related questions for a couple of years, compiled on their blog, and then J.D. answered a lot of those questions as well on his AuthorTube channel, so I'll link to all that information down below. I've really been enjoying these questions. I've been playing with them for several years now, answering one per month on my channel sequentially, and that means I am up to question number 74, which is to describe what you're working on right now. But this question is in fact not entirely what it seems, because JD asked it on April Fool's Day, back in the past, and all of the members of his writing group gave sort of outlandish, funny answers, which were really fun to read. So I'll link to that particular blog post down below as well. I know there's one person who talked about writing an epic fantasy, but instead of following humans or elves or that sort of thing, they were following squirrels. So yeah, that's cute. So anyway, I thought I might do it in that vein or something like that anyway. Unlike my last Author's Answer video, I didn't script anything, for this. Maybe this would have been a good writing exercise for me as well to, script some sort of elevator pitch or query or something like that for my fantasy novel, but I decided against it in some part because I'm still in drafting stages, so I don't know if I want to overwhelm myself yet about, doing something that's far more of an end of drafting and even revising, perhaps, activity. But I was thinking about, I guess, a sort of prompt I've seen on social media about, describing your novel, in a way that's, semi-accurate, but also largely, ineffectual to describing what the story and the characters are actually about. It made me think about how my fantasy novel, it's kind of based on a few things. It's hard to even describe to my beta reading group when they ask me about my inspirations. But one of the sort of impetuses that finally made me want to start writing was I was watching, the final seasons of Game of Thrones, especially after Sansa and Arya reunite, and Arya is really challenging Sansa all the time about all the decisions she made in the past and how Sansa's always on the back foot, in this world, in Westeros. The way she was brought up is something that ultimately, wasn't conducive to her worldview, and she had to alter it quite significantly, and blah blah blah. And I found it kind of frustrating after a while that Sansa's such a punching bag when she really was somebody who embodied everything that her society told her to embody, and just because it was feminine and so much fantasy, really privileges the masculine and the tomboys, that, Sansa always has to be on the down foot. And I thought I wanted to write a story where feminine magic wins, and I went from there, and it's a lot different from how I actually first started, because I created a world that is in fact quite patriarchal itself, and the feminine doesn't always win there too. And in fact, I created a character who was a lot like Sansa, a very feminine person. I brought the high harp into my story and all of that. And in fact, she's tested a lot about how her views on domesticity and so forth aren't as easy as she thought they were, and that she wasn't as, valued even as she thought she was in that capacity. So yeah, that's where I started with. I wrote a protagonist, a Sansa-like protagonist, and I wanted to write somebody who wasn't a tomboy in any sense of the word and had to make do in a fantasy world anyway. And then I did, kind of loosely base her family and those characters around Sansa's family, and I had a little bit of fun with that. I have an Arya character, except in my story, Arya is somebody who is this kick-ass, tomboy and really skilled fighter, but she is forced to put it all aside and take on a domestic life, and the tables are turned on her, and she really sucks at this work. And then I have a Ned character, kind of, except not at all, because he actually is kind of manipulative and plays the game. And, you know, definitely not somebody who, you know, is just straightforward in all things. He has an agenda, and he knows that subterfuge is needed for that. And then there's my protagonist's brother, who actually I kind of named for Robb Stark, but maybe he's a little like Jon Snow at the end, where, you know, Jon could be the king of the North, but decides, you know, I don't want it, and he doesn't actually get to rule anything long term. But this is really pushing it, and thank goodness for that, because I hope I'm not giving, you know, George R.R. Martin reasons to, you know, sue me. Because, you know, all of this is just vaguely sort of in there. And I guess I should end with the fact that not only is my protagonist based a bit off of Sansa, she's also based a little bit off of Bran and his sort of prophetic arc. So here I am writing a fantasy story with based in a little bit off of my favorite characters, who tend not to be everyone else's favorite characters. But I guess we'll see how it goes. One of my beta readers, in fact, told me that it was like reading about Sansa, but if she was interesting. So I guess maybe that's a win for me. So that's where I am. That is what I am working on, or the biggest thing I am working on anyway. And that about covers it for me now. I guess another thing I could mention is a reason perhaps for not getting too specific in a serious way is I've been on like writer Twitter a bit, and I don't know, I just you know, go to my tweets for you homepage, and I guess the algorithm shows me some of the most popular ones, or something like that. And I've seen some tweets from people who are sort of backing off of the hashtag pitch contest, saying that people have been stealing ideas, and so I guess some writers aren't going to participate in them anymore, because, you know, the pros of very possibly being picked up by an agent are probably outweighed by the cons, I guess, in their minds of having stuff plagiarized. And it's such a shame. I guess, you know, it's not, I guess, maybe that surprising that, you know, when you put stuff online, you know, things get stolen and that sort of thing. But it's a shame, because, you know, it's such a wonderful writing community, and like it's just fun to see the ways that people can market their work as they're trying to get agents and published and that sort of thing. But and now it's like, and it is actually a legitimate way to interact with agents, but I wonder if the downsides of social media are a bigger deterrent. Who knows even how long Twitter is going to be around anyway, but it actually has been relatively good, I think, for the writing community in the past. Maybe we'll have to go back to the normal ways of sharing about our projects in, you know, smaller in-person groups or beta reading groups or that sort of thing. I don't think this is a question JD and his writers group got to, but I still have plenty more to go, so I guess we'll see. Maybe I'll be revisiting this again. But in the immediate future, I'm going to pivot back to BookTube, and you should see me imminently for my next AM reading video, so stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Keep writing, and I'll see you next time.